So we're catching up with nDreams here at GDC, and I gotta say it's very apropos that we're talking with you, Patrick, because it really is the VR show. So at least so far, in terms of announcements and things that are going on, it's gotta feel good for you to sort of be there right in the middle of it with a lot of projects coming and some already out there.
Yeah, it's incredibly exciting. I mean, we've been working on VR for just over 18 months now and doing a lot of work, and finally it feels like momentum's there. You know, it's been like in the Olympics they have cycling races where they go really slowly and then suddenly somebody goes and they all go, and it feels like that's happened now. And so it's great to finally be getting release dates and final information and seeing the final hardware as well.
Is there anything in particular of these recent announcements that has you more excited than anything else?
I think the Valve HTC announcement is fascinating. You know, we were expecting that Valve may do something, but to partner with HTC and what they're doing, and also the launch date, talking about Q4 this year as well, which is really bullish and fantastic for us because we've got software ready to go. So we're really excited by that. And the Morpheus, you know, a lot of people are really impressed with the new Morpheus hardware, and Sony really know what they're doing, and you know, we're very excited about that headset too. So you know, it's been a great show for VR.
Yeah, and the 120 hertz thing is sort of throwing a curveball out there to sort of when you're comparing different things, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think there's going to be some clever tech going on. I'm not sure the games will be running at 120 frames a second, but still, yeah, they're really pushing the hardware, and apparently it's a great piece of hardware. We hopefully be seeing it shortly, and really excited to get working and move on to that version of the Morpheus, because what we've done so far with the Morpheus has been really, really powerful and really good.
So speaking of what you've got lined up there for when Weave is coming out, what can you tell us about that game?
So we announced a game last year called The Assembly, and that's going to be our first big VR game that will cover all of the major platforms. So we'll be doing it for Oculus, for Morpheus, and for the Vive as well. We'll be talking a lot more about that before E3, but it's a big adventure game designed with VR in mind. We've got a few other games for those sort of platforms in development, and also we've just launched a couple of Gear VR games for the launch of the Gear VR store, which came out, I think, last night or the night before last, just finally went live with payments and stuff. So we're trying to cover all of the different headsets and get there at launch with all of them.
So what do you envision for VR? Would you, I mean, obviously, so maybe the Gear experience is a little bit smaller experience, a little more bite-sized. Do you think that is also apropos on Vive and on Morpheus? Are you looking to bring out those smaller games as well?
I think you'll see a real mix, definitely. I mean, one of the best things about, well, even just stores like the PSN and Steam is there's a real variety of stuff. You can get very big, epic, you know, £39 experiences, but also you can get lovely bite-sized games. And so I think you'll see a mix on VR as well. You'll see some small snackable games that might last, you know, an hour or two, some experiences that actually might not be games at all, and also some bigger games. And we're doing a variety of those. We're really experimenting. It's such a new area, and we want to try lots of stuff out and see what works and see what doesn't work, and that's part of the fun of it, I think.
I can imagine also that since you have been focusing on VR so strongly for quite a long time, I mean, compared to a lot of other developers, do you get a lot of sort of people asking you about your methods and about the technology here at GDC and stuff?
Yeah, we try and do quite a few talks about VR, and we don't want to give everything away, but we do try and share what we've learned and what works well and what doesn't work. I mean, that's part of the fun, is experimenting. We've tried tons of things, you know, from what's it like with your avatar has glasses and actually you can see the edges of the frames. What does that feel like? What does it feel like if you've got a tall avatar or a short avatar and you're actually tall or short in real life? A whole load of really fascinating things. Some of them work really well, some of them are awful, and we share as many as we can do with developers when we do talks and things. So we're happy to kind of help other people along.
Do you feel like, are we getting to a point where sort of all those things that you have to consider sort of are evaporating, and that you get more freedom to design the game as you want? Or are you still sort of, because, you know, obviously motion sickness is something you want to avoid in the players and so on and so forth. Do you see these solutions coming where perhaps there's even more freedom to create?
I think as the hardware gets better, there's more and more we can do. One of the things that I think a lot of developers are avoiding at start is very fast-paced games. So, you know, a Call of Duty where you're flying around at, you know, the speed of Usain Bolt, spinning around 3 times a second, you know, that works well on a console. But when you're actually there in VR and you're first person looking around, you need a comfortable rotation speed and movement speed that kind of fits real life, like, you know, what you would actually do. So a lot of the games I think you'll see at start that involve moving won't be dashing at top speed. And actually that's not what you want to do when you get into VR. When you put a headset on, you just want to look around and, you know, look at the cobwebs and look under the table and all that kind of fun stuff. So I think there'll be a lot more exploration, and certainly with us, we think adventure games are going to be a great genre for VR because of that.
you mentioned first person, and that is of course the obvious thing. Do you think that there is room for other genres as well that aren't first person necessarily?
Absolutely. One of the tests that we did in VR very early on was trying third person cameras out. Not traditional kind of follow third person cameras, but maybe sort of God type games, RTS style games, looking at a big table, for example, and seeing things happening on it, looking down from above, and that works beautifully well in VR. So cutscenes are a real issue, but other than that, doing third person cameras and RTS type games, I think they'll work really nicely. So yeah, you won't just be first person. First person is what most people think about right from the beginning, but you'll see a real mix of games, I think.
So can you talk a little bit about sort of the relationship that you have, because you are in a unique position that you're sort of making games for all of these major VR platforms. How are those relationships been for you?
They've been really good. I mean, all of the first-party hardware guys have been very supportive. One of the advantages of getting in early is that you can get to talk to those guys and build relationships with them. They're all different. All of the headsets are different. Mobile VR is quite different to PC and console VR, mainly because of the performance. So what we have to do for the Gear VR to get a great-looking game running really smoothly is graphically simpler than what you can do on on a PC or a console. But that's fine. Other than that, there's a lot of shared lessons, and Sony and Oculus and Steam as well. They've all been fantastic to us so far. So touch wood, they've been very approachable.
So what are your thoughts on Microsoft, because they're doing something a little bit differently with their HoloLens? How does that fit into the landscape?
We're really excited to play with that. It is augmented reality. The big question is whether it kind of darkens pixels as well as brightens them up, because it means then you can replace the real world with VR and switch between the two. Ultimately, if we get a headset that does augmented reality and can switch to virtual reality and jump between the two of them, it's going to be amazing. And it may be the magic leap, or maybe even the HoloLens, depending on what they're doing, may be able to do that. That's where it gets really exciting. I think we're going to be playing around with HoloLens, but it may be not as applicable for some games as others. And I think VR is perfect for games. HoloLens, we'll wait and see. We'll have a play.
Very exciting times. Thank you so much for talking to us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
And without end. Welcome to a new reality.